X-Men 97, episode 4. Today, I explain to you why I hate Mojo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I have my man Molly Mall with me. Maul, today we're going to go over X-Men 97, episode 4, Montendo / Life Death Part 1. Very interesting how they did this when they split it basically into 2 short episodes, which was something that you used to see back in the day with some of these cartoons. But they would have Heathcliff, and then you have Wordsworth like for the second half of the show.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting the way they did that.
Wow, you went back.
Yeah. So from yeah. Oh. Okay. Right. So
he could have got your ratings.
Part of my dog. So with this, it brought me back personally back to the early 90s again, but this time video game memories. And we're gonna jump into that here in just a second. So we got a look here more at the X-Men kind of like at a regular breakfast table, doing their thing, giving you that family vibe feel that is really something that the X-Men, that's what they really are. Outside being a team, they're really more of a family, more so than some of the superhero teams you see. So we start off with it being Jubilee's birthday. She's turning 18, and jump into it here for me. So first impressions. We're going to start with that first scene there. Like everyone's sitting around the table and Magneto and Gambit's having that little conversation.
Yeah. That was very awkward. You could tell that they definitely got like awkward tension there because knowing what Gambit now knows, but is not revealing, and yeah, the whole Magneto getting the coffee before him and knowing like the 3 creams and all that stuff like that. Yeah, that was a lot going on, man. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I could play it off as well as Gambit did in that situation.
I know, right?
But yeah, you hit it on the nose. There's definitely tension. You got the feel of tension in that scene where Magneto gets her coffee the right way and and beats him to it, and then Gambit says something to him. I can't remember exactly what it was now, but Gambit says something to him, and Magneto one-ups him again, and leaves Gambit looking dumb-faced.
Yeah, I think he said something like, "I'm the boss" or something like that. Like he put him in his place. Yeah, so I'm like, wow. How much more is he gonna take, Gambit?
I don't see that ending well between the two of them.
No, not really.
So as I mentioned before, so we get introduced to the fact that it's Jubilee's birthday. She's turning 18, and it's kind of become a little bit of as the world turns, because we get introduced to another couple, another X-Men couple here, which would be Jubilee and Roberto da Costa, aka Sunspot. Now, so for me, right, watching this, I didn't realize. I realized later on, and maybe this is just on me, but I was almost against this whole little Roberto Jubilee thing, thinking that Roberto was older. Like I also thought he was being older than Jubilee, but in this show, obviously they're the same age, and I didn't realize until I started doing a little bit more research that Jubilee actually has been aged up over the years. So they're actually around the same age
Yeah.
now. But um,
Yeah, he's just richer.
the yes, yes, and Jubilee and a character named Boom Boom, from New Mutants and X Force from the books. It hit me today too that they really had the same exact powers. um, so
Really?
the same exact powers, and I didn't realize that until today for some reason. It popped in my head. But so for you, what are your thoughts on this new budding relationship here between the two? I guess 18-year-olds, I guess, or the consenting adults type of thing.
Um, I mean, I don't have an either way. They're young. They're like, they're both fresh and new, early with their powers and stuff like that. So I don't mind a good origin story. And we've already known Jubilee from a while back. So
Yeah,
seeing her kind of grow into adulthood and try to get into that phase, I guess it's okay. Like, I would. I'm not the biggest fan of Roberto da Costa. Like,
why?
he's kind of
What is it about Roberto that you don't like?
well, like all of them at one point, he's kind of like denying the powers and like trying to be the normal kid life, or more so, he's trying to hide it from his family, which I guess I kind of see because we see what happened to what's his name, homeboy with the angel wings.
Angel, yeah,
Yeah,
Warren Worthington, yeah,
yeah, that didn't go too well, and he had money too and power.
yeah, true.
So yeah, I can see
Yeah,
why he's hiding it, but
which is kind of one of the themes, the running themes in with the X-Men. Again,
yeah,
it's always about
definitely.
people. It's also people who are marginalized. It's always about they represent marginalized people. They represent people who are hated for no fault of their own. And so they have this fear where he's kind of quote unquote, I guess, in the closet with his powers when it comes to his parents.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know what side his parents stand on in terms of that whole mutant thing. So, yeah, I see where he's coming from. He's grown. I guess he's growing on me a little bit now that I'm seeing more of his plight to the situation.
I think as it goes along, you like him more because again, he was a character that I liked a lot when I first was introduced to him. So we see while they're in the room that Jubilee has this gift and that she thinks was given to her by someone in the house, but it was a Montendo. And I'm getting to the point here where I'm telling you, this is why I hate Mojo. So Montendo was given to him by Mojo, right? And it took me back to playing X-Men, the video game, on the Sega Genesis back in the day. And I hated playing against Mojo because he was so hard to beat. Right? And I spent, I don't know, hours playing that game, and Mojo was always a problem for me. And so I hated.
Are you saying that you got trauma?
Yes, I have so much trauma from trying to beat Mojo at my cousin's house playing Sega Genesis, like hours and hours. People would be looking for me. I'd just be up there like just trying to beat this stupid game. But we get reintroduced to Mojo, and what are your thoughts on this version of Mojo? I mean, he's a little different from. At least initially, his look is a little different from what we saw in the original series. But what's your thoughts on Mojo?
This character was definitely a little bit more animated per se. They took a whole different angle, but I get it because Jubilee's she's young, she's into that type of stuff or whatever have you. So, and he wanted to get access to her, so that made sense, like on how they went with it. And I also like the fact that they introduced another villain, Spiral, his little sidekick or whatever have you. Well, she perceives to be sidekick. But yeah, I at first I was like, okay, wait, where are they going with this? Because this just went wow. But I liked it at the end of it all. I did.
So and as we saw, they went through a whole video game kind of stretch there where they were going for different levels, different stages of the video game, going to Genosha, initially being attacked by Sentinels, taken into this to New York City. Which again was all pretty cool the way they did it. It had the video game graphics that kind of stuff we got to see. Like it was pretty clever the way they did that. And then we get to Asteroid M for that final battle, and that's when I was reminded of how powerful Jubilee can potentially be. Because we always joke around about, she does fireworks, pew pew pew.
Yeah.
But as she evolves and gets stronger, the way they've defined it, Marvel's defined it, is that her powers are actually what she's doing is small atomic explosions. So as she gets stronger, those atomic explosions get stronger. And we saw in the video game when she was fighting the Magneto boss character, her hit him with a whopping blow to finish him off. As far as it goes with as those video game scenes, I'm just curious of what you thought of how it played out and how it fit into the episode, because again, I thought it was pretty cool the way they did it.
Oh, as you saying, as towards the end of the episode, like how did it?
Yeah, just basically the way that they weaved in the video game look and feel to it.
Yeah. Oh no, they did a good job on that. Absolutely. You know what else I found was funny was that backtracking just a slight bit.
Yeah, go for it.
Is how Magneto was so like, yeah, we're not gonna do the whole party thing. We need to get into training because of, in light of the stuff that has happened. We need to be ready and prepared. And they're like, oh no, we want to go to the arcade. So it was funny how they like weaved all of that in to give her both experiences at the same time, So yeah.
You hear that, children? Listen to your elders.
Well, I mean, she got the training of a lifetime there in that moment,
Oh yeah, that was again, I thought it was really cool the way they did that. And you're right. The whole episode of this half of the episode kind of revolved around her learning that lesson and learning that she does need to train, she does need to prepare to for what may come. And and people in my house were like, what, when she said she wanted to go to the arcade, they were like, what year was this made? So I had to explain to people, that it was made it was released this week, but it takes place in 97. So exactly. It was sometimes I get lost in me too, where I was like, wait, why are they talking about pagers? And it's like, it's 97.
97. So, wait, can we get into Mr. Roberto as to now why I can go back and be like, I'm not really liking this dude?
Go for it.
Because like in the arcade, as they was going through their trials and tribulations, he really kind of cowered up there, like she's expecting him, like, if you're going to show something, show it now, because we need the help. And this dude's like, well, what if they got cameras there? What if they see me? Like, I'm like, dude, your life is on the line here. But
right?
You're concerned with whether or not a camera's going to see you,
I mean,
you lost cool points right there.
I mean, I get that they're trying to make him that newbie. So for people who are maybe coming and watching the show for the first time, like he's their guy through the world of X-Men. But yeah, he definitely needed to sack up there a little bit and do something. I will give it to him though. At the end, he did actually use his powers. And you can see that slow build.
It's like, all right.
Yeah. you can see that slow build they're doing to kind of to have him start. He's using one arm, then maybe next week he'll use two arms, and then eventually he's going to have his whole body covered in that energy that he emits, and at that point he becomes a powerhouse. But it's again, we just have to be patient, Mal, I guess, with Roberto.
Yeah, yeah. Seems a theme throughout this whole new experience of 97. You know, patience.
But let's jump in real quick to Beta Jubilee. What did you think about Beta Jubilee?
Oh, we're talking about? Are we talking about the mature?
The older version of
Dude, I was excited. That's
yeah.
when the game time came, because I was like, okay, for a minute here, I'm like you said, okay, is she just fireworks? Like, what's going on here? But then we got into Jubilee, and she was like, oh no, you're so much more. Like, and we've gone through so many different like scenarios of you in this game and everything that was going on. It gave me vibes of the Matrix. When we talked, right, when she was talking to what was the guy, the I forgot, the gray haired dude, the white haired dude, when Neil's in the room and it has all the TVs.
Oh, I mean, in the Matrix?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember all the TVs. The architect. The architect.
Yes, the architect. Yeah. Like I got vibes from her, kind of like that type of character where, you know, she's like, yeah, we've done this from every angle of these games. This is why I know like all the secret cheat codes and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of dope. But then when she gets into the powers, I was like, oh man, okay. I was wondering what Jubilee can do.
So, yeah, I was never really a huge fan of Jubilee. But this was the coolest I've seen Jubilee. This was the best I've seen Jubilee in an animated form.
Can I ask you this though? Like, so we seen her kind of see a perspective of what her capabilities are, and then towards the end when they're like taking out Mojo, they kind of get together and like, you know, disarm him. So I'm trying to figure out, did she take a big leap advancement to her powers at that point?
That I don't know. I'm hoping that's the case, but I don't know if they're writing this that way, where it's like this is her catalyst to get her powers to that next level. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. I guess we find out next week or the week after, but we'll see. But that would be cool, because again, when she started doing the whole like Krillin from Dragon Ball Z, disc, like laser disc thing going on, power disc, whatever that thing, that move's called. That was pretty cool. And I was like, should I chopping through like Mojo's legs? I was like, I definitely got Dragon Ball Z Krillin vibes from that. Watching that. Krillin's my guy. I love you, Krillin. So she does that. She fights alongside her beta version, and she learns the lesson that Magni was trying to teach her. And so that was really the end of the first half of the episode, which again, I wasn't expecting the split. So when they ended it, I was like, this is a short episode. But then they switch over to Storm. Storm and Forge doing their little thing. And it was like, they're quiet little moments, and he's trying to do the thing there. And I really love the emotion in this. Not necessarily, again, another couple coming together. I'm not thinking about that this time. I'm thinking about the heartbreak of him trying to help her regain her powers and failing. So I'm gonna let you jump in here. So tell me what your thoughts were of Life Death Part 1.
Yeah. Well, first I'll say that I did have a ray of hope, piggybacking off of 3, that she meets Forge, and then you go
Mhm.
into there and you're like, okay, so Storm's gonna get her powers back. Like okay, this is good, because usually I was like, oh man, this isn't right. And then you get the introduction to Forge, who has this long history with Professor Xavier and
Yep.
being a part of their original team and stuff like that. Um, Forge is an interesting character. Um, I didn't really do much research on him before this, but
Mhm.
to know that he has the ability to basically take anything and turn it into whatever he needs, I think that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Um, yeah, and then like their slow development, kind of bonding of like you said, creating this relationship or whatever that they're coming to. I found it a little interesting.
I
I've never really seen them. I've never really seen her with a male character before, other than maybe backstories of her with, what was it, Black Panther or something like that, like in one of the episodes.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about one of the episodes, but I know in the books, her and Black Panther, obviously, actually got married for a while, and then divorced or annulled after they started fighting. But her and Forge actually was a story, a romance that went on for a while in the books as well. Um, which this is what they were kind of touching on with this particular episode, and trying to build on, because there was history there from back in the day when Storm was rocking that mohawk in the comics as well. So back then, and one of the interesting thing about Forge that I actually forgot before watching this episode was that he was responsible for one of the people responsible for those collars, the
Mm,
power dampener collars.
yes.
I forgot about that, and they did, I think, a really good job of explaining why he did it, and expressing his the guilt and sorrow he felt
Oh,
about doing it.
absolutely.
Do you so do you consider Forge a gene trader?
No, because he was a soldier at the time. So
Mhm.
when when he was making it, he, like he said, he thought he was doing it for the betterment of mutants. For those who were uh trying to basically do harm to
Yep,
mankind. Because we also got to remember that not all mutants was on the straight and narrow path and using their powers for good.
and they're
You
still
got
not.
who was like trying to destroy the earth and you know get for whatever they wanted from it. So I could understand the callers, but then again, he was like, once he got the bigger picture of what was going on, he wanted nothing to do with it. But like all technology, in some sense, the government has ownership of what you're doing when you're working for them. So
This is true. And again, so for me, when he mentioned the collars, he started pouring his heart out to her. That's when it hit me again. It was like, one, I remember that he was responsible for it, and then two, it was like he's indirectly responsible for Storm losing her powers
yeah,
altogether.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
for me, I'm thinking that's would be an issue.
Well, I
For
mean, you can tell that that's what made the guilt, because she asked him. She was like, "Why is this so important to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That I get my powers back." So you can see he was racked with guilt on that. He knew he was responsible in that manner.
as he should be, because he is guilty for that. He's a gene traitor. um, so we get towards the end of this episode, right? And I and all this creepiness is happening, and my mind initially goes to, is this the Shadow King we're about to see here, when we start seeing like kind of a creepy character in the dark. um and then lo and behold, it's a character called Adversary, who I will admit, in all my many years and decades of reading X-Men, or learning about X-Men and watching X-Men, I hadn't come across this character for some reason. So so this is brand new to me, and it's like, okay, this is a little bit of excitement here for me because it's something new that I'm getting. I mean, I'm not sure how long the character's been around, but you did some research on the character.
I did.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts here on the introduction of Adversary?
So what I learned from Adversary is that he was actually a demon from another dimension that the Cheyenne, or whatever the native tribe was that Forge is
Okay.
from. I want to say it's the Cheyenne tribe.
Cheyenne, yeah, Cheyenne, yeah.
Cheyenne tribe. So apparently they've been dealing with Adversary for a long time before Forge. And Forge
Okay.
was aware of Adversary. When what you find out is that Adversary is a formless demon. He has the ability to be and look like anything and anyone.
So shapeshift.
So,
You shapeshift.
yes, more or less he's a shifter, but he can also manipulate the environment, I guess.
Okay.
So what we find out is that Storm is actually in a trap of Adversary, and that Forge is actually under the control of Adversary. Somehow he ended up gaining control of Forge. This is why when she's like riding the horse or whatever have you, and she goes off the cliff or whatever, she ends up falling through the ceiling back in the living room. And that's how you figure out, oh, okay, this whole time, this was all under Adversary's control.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Yeah. So I'm definitely interested to learn more about this Adversary character because again, I was thinking Shadow King, maybe Demon Bear, was who we were going to get there, and we got Adversary, who again, like I said, I one of the few characters that I've never heard of, I never come across in all my X-Men years. So that'll be awesome. So besides that, as a whole, we got really kind of 2 mini episodes in one, right? Which one are you picking as the best of the two? And your thoughts about what's coming next.
Ooh. Well, damn, that's a good one. I am eager to see Jubilee's development more because now that we see where it's all leading to, I want to see her become a more powerful X-Man.
Yeah.
At the same time, now that they've introduced this new character, Adversary, I want to see how Storm is gonna like get out of this. You know what I mean? Because she's trapped into this new being's thing that she knows nothing about. And Forge, that she thought was, there to help her or whatever have you, is a part of the trap. So we have to, figure out how is she going to deal with this with no powers. You got to remember, she still didn't get her powers back. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have
those. So and for me, I am, if I was to choose other two, I'm probably, even though I'm not the hugest Mojo fan for reasons I mentioned, I did like the first one, the first half of the show a little better.
Okay.
But I think the life death, the second half of the show, part one, was very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing part two. So I think that may, as a whole, end up being a better take, a better part of half of the show, a better version of the show, however you want to phrase it. As far as what I'm looking forward to seeing, moving forward, I am looking forward to seeing what happens with my man Cable. We know he's coming back, baby Cable, and I'm hoping to see that we get some dark stories around the future and possibly some Nimrod stuff. Because we all, as we all know, Nimrod is an off the charts powerful killer of mutants. And there are some pretty dark stories about some of the more advanced versions of Nimrod that come down the pike. So I'm hoping that we get to see that at some point too. Probably not this season, but somewhere here in the future, I'm hoping we get to see some of that. So outside of that, listen, thank you all for watching. Molly Mall, appreciate you coming on again.
Yes,
and we're going to do it this way. We're going to don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment, don't forget to share, and we will see you guys next week for episode 5 of X-Men 97.
Can't wait.